Okay, welcome U.S. Virgin Islands Chess. This is Colin Heim with another live chess blitz game. And this game was played yesterday at around 4 o'clock. My opponent, Pet Lot, was his or her name, rated over 2,000 in all-time controls, close to 2,100 live chess. And this game was a blitz game, so 5 minutes per player. Your instructor had the white pieces, started playing with 1 e4. e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, Italian game, and bishop to e7 by black now, Hungarian defense. c3, d6, d4, establishing the setter, knight f6. Knight f6 wasn't best, d5 now attacking c6 knight drops back to b8. Knight from b to d2, c6, short castles by your instructor. b5 now attacking the bishop goes back to b3, and c5. c4, not allowing the continuation of the c5 pawn, and b4 was played by my opponent. Yes, a3, b captures a, rook captures a, and now short castles by my opponent. Okay guys, let's look at this position now quickly. White has established a strong pawn center, and black is completely undeveloped on the queen side. Rerouting the course of this queenside knight now and giving up the e4 pawn in order to gain some positional tactics, setting up some tactics. So rook to e1 now attacking, knight goes back to f6 after taking e4 pawn, bishop b5 attacking f6 knight, knight from b to d7, queen to d3 now, starting my attack as I mentioned before. Knight to b6 and bishop to c2 now, eyeing h7 pawn. Goal is to set up that long range diagonal to shoot for that checkmate. But as we see, knight is still protecting h7 square. So that's why g6 was played by my opponent, not allowing any of those ideas. Now bishop captures f6, bishop captures f6, knight to c3 now starting the attack. A star move by my opponent, bishop to f5 now attacking d3 queen, of course. Knight to e4 now, blocking and not allowing this. Bishop to g7, dropping back. h3 played by myself. Bishop to d3, and find out why that was a mistake. Guys, after I give everyone a couple of seconds, why was bishop to d3 a mistake? Right, now knight gets to capture d6, and I'm regaining the pawn. Bishop captures h3, now find the best move for white in this position, after I give everyone a couple of seconds again. Pause the video, find the best move for white in this position. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, girls and boys. Right, it's knight captures f7 if you found that good. And after rook captures f7, now g captures h3, and white has an open g file after king to h1. And knight to d7 was the continuation after that line we just went over, and king to h1. Again, this is my experts level, so I expect you guys to keep up with my rate of analysis and showing the piece moves. Queen to f6, rook to g1. Now with the open g file, queen to f4, and rook to g3 was not played in the game. I don't know why that's in the notation. It was rook to g4, and after rook to g4, my opponent played queen to c1 check. And as a response, I played king to g2, and queen captures on b2, now attacking the rook as well as the bishop. And in this position, I said, let me attack now, get my knight to g5 now, attacking f7 rook. And as a result now, rook moves out of the way, rook moves to f6, and now if you spotted the tactic of the day, guys and girls, it's knight captures on h7. Yes, again, knight captures h7. Look at it real good. Knight captures h7. And now black recaptures the knight with the king. Rook captures on g6. King goes back to g8. Rook captures on g7. King captures on g7. And whoops, queen to h7 check. Now this is the beginning of what I wanted for the end for black. Queen to h8, only 15 seconds on my clock. My opponent with an extra minute and a half over me with a minute and 45 seconds left to play. King to e7, about 10 seconds on my clock now. King goes to g7, and now defending with the rook and I dropped my queen back to g5 check, and he blocked with the knight, and that was the end of the game. Your instructor lost on time. However, for the sake of the analysis and what I tried to invent in this game, let us now look at what could have been a winning endgame for Team White. Starting now. So after knight to f6, it's time for you guys to put on your analysis caps and find out what the best moves here for White are after I give everyone a couple of seconds. So think strategically, what would be the most advantageous continuation here for White? Pause the video, do what you have to do, and let's continue. Did you find d6? d6 check. Computer recommends that the best move is king captures on d6, and then after rook to a6, checking the black king, the king is recommended to move back to e7. And now the best move for this position, the best move in this position for White is bishop to f5. Bishop to f5 now, because we want to get the rook to e6 square. And notice how that protects the bishop that was under attack by the queen on b2, right guys and girls? And now obviously rook to g7 is impossible, because then just queen captures, right? So what does black have to do here, guys, in order to develop something? White, right? Black has to come up with something. Why isn't rook to g8 possible in this position for black, guys, after I give everyone a couple of seconds? It's pretty obvious, right? Pause the video. What did you find? Did you find rook captures on a7? And then queen is recommended to go to somewhere like d6, right? Yeah, so now in this position, unfortunately, you're probably going to end up having to go down a whole rook. You don't want to continue in that fashion, so none of that should be played. Okay, so we found that that wasn't really a solution. Perhaps instead of playing queen to g5, just immediately pushing d6. This is what should have been played in the game, okay guys? Immediately pushing d6, and now this is what should have been played for the winning attack. Why can't king obviously take pawn, guys, right? Because queen just captures rook, and after queen captures rook here, there's a check square, and king is forced to move back, and it looks like this may just be a winning attack for Team White. It's something like rook to g8, and now king has to move somewhere now to, let's just say, h1. Well then, queen check, and perhaps it looks like White is getting mated. Okay, so that can't happen. We mentioned now it is not recommended that black takes the pawn. So this is the position that we're studying, guys. Remember, after queen to g7 and rook to f7, playing not queen to g5 but d6 immediately, and the king, the black king now is not encouraged to capture the white pawn, as it could be an end for Team Black. So the move is king to g8 check, rook to f8 only move, another king check on e6, now limiting the amount of squares that the king can go to, guys. Remember, in these end games, always make it, when you have these brutal attacks, when you decide to exchange, make peace sacrifices or what have you, limit the amount of squares that your opponent's king can go to. That's the number one fact. That's what we're trying to do. Now find the obvious move for white here, guys, after I give you a couple of seconds. Queen e7, right? Now the pawn is defending the queen, right? So king is forced to go to c8. Again, another forced move. And what's it going to take here, guys and gals? What's it going to take here to beat black in this position. After I give everyone a couple of seconds. What's it going to take here? Right, well, if you spotted rook a6, the last hope, so to speak, that's exactly what should be played. But perhaps that's also a weak move, because now queen b7 check is coming, and now after king is forced to move somewhere, queen is taking the rook, and it's safe for white to resign. So that is also not a good solution. So we said queen to e6, attacking black king. King goes to d8, and checking the king once again, and king to c8. Okay, so it turns out actually now the best move in the position is actually having to give up this bishop, right? You're offering now another piece to sacrifice. Okay, so we're offering another piece, and if something here, for example, like queen captures rook, well, then it's just going to be queen to d7 check, and this is going to be checkmate, queen to c7 mate. Okay, so queen cannot capture rook. Now, no, not this line. Again, if we put the bishop up on f5 and rook captures, then there's queen to e8 check. Queen is going to b7, and now queen d7 check, and king is encouraged to go back to b8, and now this is the solution, guys. Find the winning move for white in this position after I give you a couple of seconds, and it's queen c7 check mates. Yes, guys, so we went through all those lines to try to find the winning solution for white here from my experts channel. Thank you guys for participating, and thank you for watching. This was a brutal endgame for my opponent here with the black pieces, and this we found a solution to, and it's d6, and not playing any of that actually. Well, we just went over the solution, so thank you guys. Feel free to rewind the video and go back to the solution that we just solved. I don't think I recorded it here on the notation. Well, maybe it did. I actually did another endgame study and found another solution earlier prior to making this video, guys, for you to watch. And I came up with bishop to a4, king to d8, and now there was this rook b3 now, not allowing the queen to get any sort of coverage, and queen is getting to h8 no matter what. And it looks like, well, actually check first, right? Not having to move the king there, guys, obviously just taking, and it's safe for black to resign. So thank you guys again for watching. This was an Italian game, Hungarian defense, 5-minute blitz game, rated, played it on lightchess.org. Thank you guys for watching. This was a long vid. Thanks for keeping up, and we'll see everyone on the other side, and have a lovely holiday season. This is Colin Heim with U.S. Virgin Islands Chess at Home and Abroad. Take care, guys, and bye-bye for now. Thank you.